Imagine waking up one day and realizing you're on your way to becoming a millionaire. Not because you won the lottery or inherited a fortune, but because you made smart decisions with the money you already have. It sounds like a dream, doesn't it? But it's not. It's real, and it's something you can start working toward today, even if your paycheck isn't huge. This isn't just about money, it's about taking control of your future. So let's dive in. First, let's get one thing straight. Becoming a millionaire isn't reserved for people who earn six-figure salaries. It's not just for those who went to Ivy League schools or have high-powered jobs. You don't need to start a tech company or invent the next big thing. In fact, with the right approach, you can achieve financial independence no matter how much you earn. That's the beauty of this strategy. It works for everyone, and it can work for you. Let's start with a simple truth. Most people don't realize how much power they have over their finances. We often think, if only I made more money, I'd save more. But the truth is, how much you earn has little to do with how much wealth you build. Think about it. How many people do you know who got a raise, only to find themselves still living paycheck to paycheck? That's because the more we earn, the more we spend. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it's one of the biggest obstacles to building wealth. The secret isn't about earning more, it's about managing what you already earn. And trust me, you already make enough to get started. Here's a thought experiment for you. Imagine you're walking down the street and you find $5 on the ground. What would you do with it? Most people would buy a coffee, a snack, or maybe a quick treat. But what if I told you that same $5 could be worth more than $1 million if you handle it the right way? Sounds crazy, right? But it's true, and it all starts with a concept called the latte factor. The latte factor isn't really about coffee. It's a metaphor for the small, everyday expenses that quietly drain your bank account. Let's break it down. Suppose you spend $5 a day on coffee, snacks, or other small indulgences. That's $150 a month. Now, what if you took that $150 and invested it instead? Let's say you put it into an index fund that earns an average annual return of 10%. Over 30 years, that $150 a month would grow to more than $340,000. Over 40 years, almost $900,000. And if you keep it up for 43 years, you're looking at over $1 million. That's the power of small, consistent actions compounded over time. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's just $5. How can it make such a big difference? The answer lies in compound interest. This is when your money earns returns, and those returns earn more returns, creating a snowball effect. Think of it like planting a tree. At first, it's small, but as the years go by, it grows bigger and starts producing fruit. The earlier you plant it, the more time it has to grow. That's why starting now, even with a small amount, is so crucial. And it is also crucial that you need to subscribe now to understand how to make more money. Here's another way to think about it. Picture two friends, Veronica and Alex. Veronica starts saving $100 a month at age 20 and stops at 30. Alex doesn't start saving until he's 30, but continues until he's 65, saving the same $100 a month. Who do you think ends up with more money? Surprisingly, it's Veronica. Even though she saved for only 10 years, starting early gave her money more time to grow. By age 65, she has more than Alex, who saved for 35 years. This example shows just how powerful time is when it comes to building wealth. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Before we talk about investing, let's take a step back and look at where your money is going right now. If you want to take control of your finances, you need to know exactly how you're spending your money. For 1 week, write down every penny you spend. Yes, every penny. This exercise might surprise you. You'll probably find that a lot of your money is going toward things you don't even care about. Maybe it's daily takeout, unused subscriptions, or that gym membership you never use. Once you see where your money is going, you can start making changes. Now let's talk about paying yourself first. This is one of the most important principles of building wealth. It means setting aside a portion of your income for savings and investments before you spend a dime on anything else. Think of it like this. When you get paid, you're probably paying your landlord, your utility company, your grocery store, and so on. But what about you? Aren't you the one working hard for that money? You deserve to get paid first. The easiest way to do this is to automate your savings. Set up a system where a portion of your paycheck goes directly into a savings or investment account. This way, You don't even have to think about it. It's like a gift you're giving to your future self. Speaking of your future self, let's imagine what your life could look like 10, 20, or even 30 years from now. Picture yourself in a comfortable home, free from financial stress. Maybe you're traveling the world, pursuing hobbies, or spending time with loved ones. All of this is possible if you start building wealth today. The sacrifices you make now, like skipping that daily latte, are investments in that future. And trust me, your future self will thank you. But let's get real for a moment. Saving money isn't always easy. Life happens. Maybe your car breaks down, or you have unexpected medical bills. That's why it's so important to have an emergency fund. Aim to save 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenses in a separate account. This fund will give you peace of mind and keep you from dipping into your investments when life throws you a curveball. Now let's talk about investing. If you're new to investing, it can feel overwhelming. Stocks, bonds, index funds. Where do you even start? The good news is, you don't have to be an expert. Start simple. One of the best options for beginners is an index fund that tracks the S&P 500. This fund includes 500 of the largest companies in the US and has historically delivered an average annual return of around 10%. Over time, this can turn even small investments into significant wealth. Let's do some quick math. Suppose you invest $200 a month in an index fund starting at age 25. By the time you're 65, you'll have more than $1.2 million. And that's just from $200 a month. Imagine what you could achieve if you invested more. The key is to be consistent and let your money grow over time. But what if you want to build wealth faster? One way to do this is by creating multiple streams of income. This could be a side hustle, freelance work, or even renting out a spare room in your home. The more income streams you have, the more money you can invest. For example, let's say you start a side gig that earns $500 a month. If you invest all of that, you'll reach your financial goals even faster. Here's another idea. Start a business. I know it sounds daunting, but you don't have to build the next Amazon. Even a small part-time business can generate extra income. And who knows, it could turn into something much bigger. The important thing is to take that first step. I can already tell you that some videos will be released on this channel on how to build a business with $0, so subscribe to stay updated. Now let's address a common question. Why bother saving for the future when I want to enjoy my life now? It's a fair point. Life is short, and you should enjoy it. But building wealth doesn't mean depriving yourself. It's about finding balance. For example, instead of eating out 5 times a week, cut back to 2. Instead of buying the newest smartphone every year, stick with your current one a little longer. These small changes won't ruin your life, but they won't break your budget either. And here's the kicker. By investing the money you save from these small sacrifices, you're creating a better, more secure future for yourself. Imagine this. You're at a cafe and your future self walks in. They sit down across from you, smile, and say, "Thank you. Thank you for the decisions you're making today that gave them the freedom to live without financial stress." That person is you in 20, 30, or even 40 years. The choices you make today are shaping the life you'll live tomorrow. And speaking of tomorrow, here's something I want you to keep in mind. Building wealth is a journey, not a sprint. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to give up every indulgence or become obsessed with saving. The goal is progress, not perfection. It's about taking small, consistent steps that add up over time. Maybe today, you decide to brew your coffee at home instead of buying it. Tomorrow, you might cancel a subscription you don't use. The next day, you could start looking into investment options. These small actions may not seem like much on their own, but together, they have the power to transform your financial future. And here's one last piece of advice. Don't be afraid to dream big. Write down your financial goals and visualize the life you want. Whether it's buying your dream home, traveling the world, or retiring early, keep those dreams front and center. They're your why, the reason you're making these changes. Whenever you feel like giving up, remember your why. It'll keep you motivated. So, what's your first step? Is it tracking your spending, setting up automatic savings, or researching investments? Whatever it is, do it right now. Don't wait for the perfect time, because the perfect time is now. The sooner you start, the sooner you'll see results. And trust me, you'll thank yourself later, because one day you'll look back and realize that every small choice you made, every dollar you saved and invested, brought you to a life of freedom and abundance. And that, my friend, is worth every effort. Let me leave you with this. The best way to predict your future is to create it. You have the tools, the knowledge, and the power to build the life you deserve. So go out there and make it happen. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. See you soon.